Hello everyone, welcome to Tableau Desktop Refresher course designed specifically for those who are planning to attend interviews and who are planning to take Tableau Desktop certification exam. Okay, so this is a second part video. So in our first part, we tried to understand the core concepts of Tableau, where we have seen what are the different products that Tableau can offer, and we have also understood with what are the probable questions that we can get in interviews as well as in certification in these topics. So and then we uh, spent some time at data preparation layer, where we have seen what are the different options that we have. Okay, and again what are the probable questions in that. Then after that we saw what are the different data types available in Tableau, and how to identify them, and we have seen questions with respect to that also. So if you're new to my channel, please like, share and subscribe. Okay, so let's continue our part 2, where we'll see the remaining concepts as well as interview and certifications questions with that. So now I'm going to sheet 1 here. So you see, this is the list of fields that are available in our table. Okay, so if you see here, currently we are like we have orders table, people's table and returns. So if I go to my data source here, I will just remove all of them because I don't need. So click on this and remove, and click on this and again remove. Okay, now if I go to my sheet 1, so this is how our data is. Now one important concept here with respect to our real time is arranging the data here. Okay, so if I click on this, there is an option called as group by folder, group by data source table and all. Okay, so we can also do that. So if I click on this group by folder, it will try to arrange with respect to folders. But as of now, I mean, there are no folders, so that's why. But I think there should be an option to create. Okay. So if I go to create, there should be, yeah, under folders here, if you see, there is an option called as a create folder. So likewise, I can create some specific folders, and I can move all of them inside that. Suppose I want to move all of my calculated field inside this, I can simply move that in that. Like say simply I'm dragging and dropping in that. Okay, so that way you can do. So this helps in organizing your data. One common activity that we do in real time. Okay, so that is organizing your data, but for now again I'm changing it back to group by data source folder. Now you will see that that folder is not available. Okay, so in this, whenever Tableau is connecting to any data source, by default it creates two important fields, that is measure name and measure values. Two important. So these are important with respect to your certification thing, and this is important with respect to your interviews as well. So what is measure name and what is measure value? Basically, suppose if at all you want to analyze your measures, all of your measures at once. Okay, so measure names means it is talking about measure. Remember always. So how to remember the definition. Measure name of your measure. Measure means again it is a numeric value. So it is talking about all the numerical calculated fields that you have, or numerical fields that you have in your database. So all of them at once. So if I take this measure name, you see currently no measure value, but when I drop this measure value onto label or anywhere, I'm getting all of my measures at once. One effective way of creating your visualization. So this is one method. But suppose I don't want this, I can remove this Okay, I'll just clear it off. I can drop all of my measures like this. Sum of profit is there, sum of you know profit ratio is there, quantity is there. I can keep on adding like this. Or suppose I don't want to do this, I want to add side by side, then I can simply drag it next to it. Same like profit ratio as well. I can have this way also, but when I'm doing so, you see, it is by default creating or adding that measure value. So this is the most effective or standard method that we use when we have multiple measures in our report or in our worksheet. Now suppose if at all at this point of view you want to see how what is the data points or how many data points that Tableau is reading. So if you still see here at the bottom, sum of measure values is this much. Okay. So if I keep only profit, same like how our Excel works, it is showing here. So we have one row by one column. Okay. Now if I add category here, it is showing one row by three columns. So it is trying to tell us how many uh, data points it is reading. So that way we can analyze what is the load on our Tableau. Based on that, we can decide whether whether the performance of our report might degrade or increase based on this data point. So one important method for us to remember. So now in our previous session, we understood that there are five important parts: page shelf, filter shelf, marks shelf, rows and columns. So like we know, rows and columns are to organize our data. Marks shelf is to enhance our data. Now, when I say enhancing or optimizing the data, let us try to uh, what you call justify that. So now what I'm doing is I'm trying to color. I'm taking category. So there are five default options in our marks shelf: color, size, label, detail, and tooltip. So if I take category on color, this is how we are getting. Same likewise, if I take my sales on color, this is how it is behaving. Okay, so sometimes like we might get question like what are the default properties in marks shelf. So for any field, again, if this is important, like default properties, you can expect one question with respect to your certification. How can we change the default properties? Now we might get a question like why this is always blue. Okay, so now if I go to our sales measure, okay, click on this. So there are certain properties here, default properties, important thing. So what is the number format you want to keep? Default number format, or what is the default aggregation? Okay, you see here it is sum always. So we might get question like why it is always sum, why it is aggregating a sum. I don't want that. I want to change it to average. So if I can click on this, I can go to measure and I can convert it to average. One possible method. Or suppose you want to change the default aggregation, you don't want to have sum always, you can click on this, go to your default properties. Under aggregation, you can change it to average. But one thing that you need to remember here is when you do so, it does not affect your existing visualization. But any new visualization that you are trying to add will have average as the default aggregation. Okay, so again, this is something important. Okay, same likewise, we have many options in default properties like the number format, aggregation, the color, and all. Similarly, from here also we can change the data type. So many times we might want to update our data type based on the expectation or requirement from the client. So that we can do from here, or you can click on this and you can click on format and you can change it from here. Okay, so two methods for us to remember. Okay, so again, this is important from certification perspective. So if at all you are planning for desktop specialist, then this kind of questions are important. So Tableau desktop specialist is a beginner level certification. Just to tell you, it focuses more on the foundation or the definitions of each concept here, or the navigations of each thing. Suppose if at all you want to change the data type or change the default aggregation, then he might ask questions like, what is the navigation path for us? Okay, so for that is like, I mean, when we have Tableau in front of us, it is very easy for us, like, click on that measure, go to default, change data type, and from here change. So this is the navigation that we need. So he will ask questions related to navigations for sure. Questions related to navigations. At least 2 to 3 questions you can expect. Okay, so that's why practice more and more, on Tableau, so that you remember the path here. So next is here in the show me. If you observe, so there are 24 charts by default that are given by Tableau, but more than that are always possible. So based on the dimension that I choose and based on the measure I choose, number of measures I choose, the charts will get enabled here. Now, if you see here, I'm selecting, let's take category. Now one chart type enabled here. Now when I select, I'm holding my control button and I'm trying to select multiple items here. When I do that, multiple charts types are supported now. Similarly, now if you see this is disabled, right? So if I select one more measure holding my control button, so that is also enabled. Based on number of dimensions and measures I choose, the charts from here will get enabled. Okay. So now let us go to again another important concept. So for that, I'm going to create a simple what you call cross tab report here. So I'm going to convert it into text table. Okay, and I'm going to add order date. Okay, so let us take only sales for now, and I'm going to convert it into sum. And I'm going to add region also, so that we have some item here. So here important is having totals or adding totals. So again, this is important concept with respect to certification and with respect to your interview also. So how do we add totals to our table? This might be the question, or he might give you Tableau and ask you to do that. So like this is like beginner level question. Go to analysis, under totals you have an option called as show row total and show column grand total. Click on row grand total. Now what is happening? All of your sales for furniture category for central region is getting aggregated for all the years. So that is how you are getting this 163, which means sales of central region for 2018 plus 2019 plus 2020 plus 2021, like that. Okay, so this is doing this way from left to right. But now in some cases we might want to have sales at the bottom. So column grand total, again go to analysis, totals, and click on show column grand totals. So in this case, what is happening? Your total sales for your category for all the regions in 2018 is 4,84,000. Similarly, in 2019, it is 4,70,000. Similarly, in 2020, it is 6,09,000. 2021, it is 7,33,000. So in some cases or in some scenarios, totals from left to right is a good thing. And in some cases or in some scenarios, totals from top to bottom is a feasible thing or a good thing. But again, client might be very specific. He want this grand totals to be visible on top or this to be on the left. Two ways he can request us. So go to analysis, go to totals. Again, here we have two important options: row totals to left and column totals to top. You can do this. This will come on the left, and again click on this total and this one. Okay, so like this we can do, because most of the time they are interested in the totals. By seeing this value only, they'll get an understanding how the business is going, and that is enough for them. So only if they need to analyze the values in a detailed manner, they might look into the values here. But when we are having cross tab reports or this textual reports, there is high probability that we might have some indicators on this, like a loss indicator or a profit indicator, or which is not performing or something like grayed out like that. So that is called as conditional formatting. So conditional formatting in Tableau is very important. Conditional formatting. So if you need a video on this, do comment it. I'll prepare a video for you. So this is about adding grand totals to your Tableau. Now we also want a subtotal. Assume client is very clingy. He wants to see subtotals for each of this furniture, office supplies, and technology. So that is also possible. Go to Analysis tab. Under Totals, here we have an option called as Add All Totals. Now you see total here for each of the categories. For furniture category, total sales. For office supplies, total sales. For technology, totals. Again, if I click on this, we might have an option. How do we want to aggregate? I can select average. Now see, the value is changing. So that is also one of the very good options that we have in Tableau. Not many know this, but suppose if client is specifically asking that he wants his total to be averaged and not sum, then we can do this also. Okay, suppose if at all you want to rotate the labels, you can always do this from here. This is how it is looking, but we don't want that to do. But that is just an option for you to remember, that we can always customize how we want our labels to be visible. So there is an option here, that is you can click on this and you can rotate label. Let us see what happens if I click on split. Nothing is happening for now. Okay, so if I click on edit alias, I can rename my central region to anything. Suppose we don't want them to be visible as central. We want to display it as like CESW, then we can definitely do that. So what we are doing, we are having an alias for each of our name. Again, this can be a very specific requirement from client. So like this we can do. One of the very frequent requirements that we get. So either you can write a calculated field to get this, or you can also write an alias. Okay, so try using calculated field. Okay, so like I want to display. So question here is, again this can be your interview question. Okay, so I have regions like north, south, east, and west. So client is insisting that he wants to see only north, south, east, and west. So how do you write calculation for this? Okay, so try it, and you can comment it in our comment section. If not, you want me to write a calculation and show it, do comment that as well. I'll try and post it. Okay, so one method I have shown you here, but there are multiple methods using which we can do this. Now one very important advantage of Tableau is we have one very important option, that is Control Z. So it helps developers like you, it helps developer like me to go back to previous step. Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, and Control Z. Now we are back to where we were. Okay, so this is one very important option to remember. Now coming to charts topic. charts is very important concept for everyone. Like Tableau is basically a data visualization tool. So when I say visualize, what do? We create charts. So that's why knowing all the charts in Tableau is very important. So what we can do here is you can, like, maybe we can try to understand why or in which case know what charts are recommended. Okay, so that is something that is very important, and I request everyone to learn the definition of each chart. So like say when I say line chart, so interviewer or in certification you might get question like when do you use a line chart? Simple. So when we are doing an analysis over a period of time, and when we have a date field, then Tableau will automatically understand that we have to create a line chart. Or next question could be how will we create multiple line chart? Okay, so how, this also we should know. Then what is, in which cases you will use pie chart, and in which cases you will use bar chart. These are something that we definitely need answers for. So at least, because line chart, pie chart and cross tables are cross tab reports are something that are very frequently used in real time. So I request you to learn the definition of these charts and what is the minimum requirement that we need to have for this chart to use. Okay, so he might ask question like what chart will you suggest when I have a date field and a measure? Similarly, pie chart means to uh, find the distribution of data. If at all I want to do an analysis of how my data is distributed across, then I might use a pie chart. Okay, then bar chart. So if at all I want to compare across different sectors, then I might use bar chart. So cross tab, textual information of your data. So each has its own definition and requirement that we need to match. Based on that, we can suggest which chart can be used. Okay, so you can expect at least 1 to 2 questions on this charts. Okay, so in interviews, one common question is like, they might ask you to create some chart. It can be anything. Like one frequently is donut, because many candidates tell that what is the new chart or the custom chart that you have created is donut. And again, like what are the custom charts you have created in real time, which means what are the other charts apart from this 24 that you have created in real time that interviewer might be interested in knowing. So if you are telling some name, make sure you know the steps to draw that. That is something that is very important. Okay, so that is about charts here. Okay, and important option is here after that, analysis. Okay, now suppose I want to do a percentage here. Okay, so let us I'm selecting region wise sales I want. So I'm selecting region and I'm selecting our measure called as sales, and I'm selecting, holding my control button. So one or more dimensions it is asking, right? So I'll select, so I'll take this and I'll drop it. So I'll convert it into pie chart. Okay, and sales, I'm dropping it on angle. Okay, now if I make it entire view, so this is our, let us make it a sum of sales. Yeah, now if I drop sum of sales on label, so these are our sum of sales with respect to each region. Now you see in west we have 7,25,000, central we have 5, east we have 678, south we have 391. Now suppose I want to find out what is the percentage of contribution here. Again, something that is very important. So click on this, go to your quick table calculation. So this quick table calculation is something that we need to remember at all cost, because there are some advanced options that are available here and which are very important. Okay, from your interview perspective and also from your certification perspective. So now we want to find out percent of total. So simply we can click on percent of total. Now when we do percentage of total, it is giving us the total contribution of that region. So 31.5 percentage is the contribution of west region. So what is the least? South is the least region, which is contributing 17%. So when we do this, one important check we always need to do is when we add all of these values, it should become 100. So 21 plus 29 is how much? It is like say 50. 50 plus 31 is again 81. 81 plus 17. So it's like close to 100 we can tell. So but now if I add order date here, now see the calculation here, everything is changing here. Okay, so now this is not becoming 100. 6 plus 4 is 10. Again 10 plus 9 is something like 19. If I add all of the decimals, it can be 20 only, not beyond that, or 20 or 21. But ideally our assumption is this should be 100. Now what is happening, the way Tableau is computing is different when we have multiple fields here. So in these cases, computation will come into picture, or quick table calculation will come into picture. So click on this, compute using option is there. You can select this and you can tell Tableau how to compute. So with respect to order date, if I select, now you see everything is changing. So 20 plus 20 is 40, again 40 plus 26 is 66, 66 plus 18, or let's say 70 plus 20, 90 only we are getting again, so it is not 100. So you have to make sure these calculations are matching. Okay, now it has changed again. 30 plus 20 is 50, 50 plus 26 is 76 plus 21, 97, and if I add decimals maybe it is 100. So that way we can do here. Okay, so this computations are very important here, and these are very helpful in real time also. So we should understand the level at which aggregation is happening and with respect to what field these aggregations are happening, and sometimes manual intervention is needed to fix this. So that's why this compute using option help us in finding the correct calculation or correct aggregation. Okay, you can also edit that. Just click on this edit table calculation and you can choose whatever you need. So this helps you in understanding, like percent of this show calculation assistance is there, which will help you in understanding. So you can select a table across, table down, or table or cell, or specific dimensions, and we can select accordingly. So most of the times we use this specific dimensions and we tell Tableau how to compute. Okay, so this table calculations are something that are very important from interview perspective, from your real-time working real-time scenarios perspective, and also from your interview perspective. For all of the cases, this is very important. Okay, so I'm clearing this off. So one important concept that we forgot is filters here. Filters is again one very important concept that we need to remember, we need to understand, and we need to implement all of, so filters and marks. So do not forget these two concepts. They add a lot of value. Marks, they add a lot of value in interview and also in certification interview and also in certification. So we might expect questions in both. So let us see what are the different types of filters are there. So suppose there is, so you have identified the scope of your data, okay, and you want to limit that at the source level only, then that is called as a data source filter. Okay, so let me write all: data source filter, normal filter, uh, quick filter, sharing filter, cascading filter, context filter, header filter, and cell level filter. And last but not least is user filter. So you can expect at least 2 to 3 questions on this filter. Okay, so based on different scenarios that we get in real time, either we will use one among this type of filter, or we might be asked one among this filter. So filter in generic, if I try to define, is restricting data. So based on how you are restricting the data, these are the different types of filters that are available. So do comment in the comment section if you want a detailed video specifically dedicated to filter shelf. I will make a video on that and I'll explain each filter in that in detail. Okay. But if you are preparing for interview, prepare all of this. We might get questions on this. All of these are important. The most asked uh, questions in filter is context filter and cascading filter and user filter. These are something that are very important. Okay, and the other remaining filters are like real time used with respect to our database dashboard designing. Okay, so you need to know how or in which scenarios we will use these filters. Okay, so that is about filter concept. And now next is dashboard concept here. So dashboard is nothing but, okay, so sorry, before we go to dashboard here, uh, next we have few more important concepts in Tableau, that is groups, sets, and bins. Three important concepts. So many times, we get confused between groups, sets, and bins. So let me give you a very very basic definition of a group, set, and this one. Suppose we are in a class, in a schooling we are in class, and we are in class, we sit some in some bench, in some benches like back bench or around. So our friends are almost like who are something sitting close to us, maybe in front of our bench or on our back bench. So they become friends. So that is like a group of friends. So there is no condition in that. Okay, so uh, they are simple like group we call. But set means, again, set is a conditional object. So try to understand here, it is a conditional object. So if I say conditional object, top 5 students of the class. So again, I am applying a condition and telling that only top 5 students based on the marks who got, they are eligible for scholarship, like that. So here I am applying a condition, that is a top 5 students, that is set it will become. So bin is nothing but bucketing concept. Bucketing concept in the sense, suppose in an organization, they always give statement like, 1 to 3 years of employees we have, like say 1 to 3 years we have 30% of our capacity, and then 3 to 6 we have again 30, or like say 40, I'm telling, and 40 to, sorry, 6 to 9 we have 20, assume. So again, greater than 9, 10, like this. So what are they doing? They are doing an analysis with respect to the number of years of experience that each employee has, and based on that they are telling how much of percentage of employees they have. So this is like very important analysis. So this is specifically done only on measures. So always remember, when I say bins is bucketing your data, and bins are done only on measures. So this is something that you need to remember. Bins are performed only on measures. Remember that point always. So 1 2 3 30, like that. So group is, like a group of customers, group of friends, like, you and me, we are group of, subscribers who are in this YouTube channel. So we are group. Set is again conditional object of 5 students of the class, like that. Bin is only on measure. So now again in sets, we might get one specific question, one common question: top and bottom values in the same view, we might get. Now here with respect to certification also, we might get question like, how will you create a set? Simple. Or how will you create a group? This type of questions are possible, and your answers can be the navigation type, like create, select the field, or like this, field, sorry, field, create option, group, same field, create set, like this, something like this. So they will confuse you, maybe they'll add different options to confuse. So we just need to click on this, go to create. Here we have an option called as create group and set. Okay, so this navigation you need to remember, and this is how he will ask. Okay, groups and sets. Next is creating a calculated field. So if at all suppose you want to derive a value or create a new field or write a new calculation, then in that kind of cases, we might want to use this calculated field option. So that we can get using this. Just click on this and click on create calculated field. So this is one method which we can use, or the other method is you can also select the field, create calculated field. Let us observe the difference. If I go here and click on create calculated field, first one is it is asking us to name the calculation, and we can write the calculation that whatever we need. Next is select region, click on this, go to create and click on calculated field. Now when I am doing so, what it is doing, it is taking that region field and adding it here. So Tableau is assuming that you might create some new logic using this region field. That is why it has taken that as default. But it is not necessary that we need to use this region field. We can remove it and we can write test something. And we can write whatever the calculation that we need, like sum of or max of sales. And suppose you want to find out what are the different functions that are supported by Tableau, then you can, on the right side, you will see a list of functions that are available here. So using this, we can write the calculations that we need. So by default, it is all, which means categorized as all, but these are the different types of functions. Number function. So I'm going to write here. So all of these are very important. Number functions, string functions, logical function, date function, user function, and I think spatial function. Number, date, type conversion is there. Okay. So these are some of the functions that are available in Tableau, and these are very, very important from all the perspectives. Many people struggle in writing logics in Tableau or in any tool you take because they are unaware of how to write these calculations. So practice as much as you can in these functions, using different functions and trying to attain different uh, scenarios. So this will help you in surviving. Okay, so this is like a surviving skill, not interview skill, but it is surviving skill, which is very important. So do comment in comment section if you need this, if you need a separate video on functions, explaining each of the functions that are available in Tableau with examples. So again, I'm stressing it again here. Do practice as much as you can on the functions, on different functions that are available in Tableau, because this is only going to help you in real time, because we are going to create charts in real time, no doubt, but the fields that we will be using might not be the direct fields that we are getting from database. They can be calculated fields as well. So calculated means derived fields. So to derive fields, we might write some calculations. So for us, these are important. So these are surviving skills. Okay. So yeah, these are the different functions about. Now next important concept in Tableau is again parameter. So again, with respect to these functions, we can definitely get at least 2 to 3 questions, or I would say 3 to 5 questions possible here. If I combine both certification and interview question, we might get here. So many times interviewer might want to test our functional knowledge. He might give us some scenarios and he will ask us to write logic for that, like how we are trying to write logic here. So like I said, where did it go? I asked you to write logic for north, east, west, and south, right? So similarly, how will you write the logic here? Okay, so for that we need practice. So that type of questions we might get in interview as well as in certification. Next important concept in Tableau is parameters. Parameters are one of the very fundamental concepts of Tableau, where we will create parameter for multiple use cases. Okay, so but for that, to make it simplify, I'm going to tell you 3 steps. Just remember that always, or sorry, 4 steps. First step is, always remember this before you implement a parameter. First, decide, sorry, decide what is the data type of the parameter that you want. Step 2, create a parameter. Step 3, show or display the parameter. Step 4 is write calculation for parameter. So what this will do, this will, or I would say, establish a relationship with database. Okay, so only when you establish a relationship with your database, your parameter will work, otherwise it will not. So that point you always need to uh, remember. And the other important point is parameters are global. Global means once you create a parameter, that parameter is available in the entire workbook. It is not specific to one sheet, or it is not specific to one dashboard. So if I am talking about this, if I am creating any parameter, see, these are the parameters that I have. Choose category, choose chart type. So any sheet I go, that will be visible for me. So this parameter is global, like that. So that you need to remember. Okay. So even though your data source might change, but your parameter will be displayed here. Okay. So remember that. Now, after learning so many things, one important thing that might come up in interview and also in certification is what are the different formats of Tableau extensions, So this can be MCQ, like multiple choice question, or interviewer might ask the list that you know. So first one is .twb. It is Tableau workbook. .twbx, Tableau packaged workbook. Again, here we might get another question: what is the difference between TWB and TWBX? So I'm assuming you all know, because it's very pretty much. And TDE, Tableau data extract, and TBM is Tableau bookmark, and I think .tps is also there. Tableau, I think this is for spatial data, something is there. TPS is also there. So like that, you can list out all the extensions that you know in Tableau, because at least 1 to 2 questions you can expect in this. Okay, from interview perspective also very important. This we definitely you'll get. Okay, now coming to dashboard concepts here. So dashboard, like as defined in our previous class, is collection of worksheets where together we are presenting a story. Okay, so not like we are going to have only one worksheet in dashboard. So all small stories, like all small characters in a film together tell one story. Like hero is there, heroine is there, villain is there. So they together narrate one story, like that. Similarly here, multiple sheets together, when they are placed in a dashboard, they narrate some story, like how my sheets are. So we allow multiple sheets to interact with each other. So this is the basic understanding of a dashboard. Okay. So in dashboard, one important concept that we have is actions. So this is something that is very, very important. And apart from that, what is important is dashboard designing. Okay. So actions. So if I go to Tableau here, and if I go to dashboard, okay, let us add one sheet here. And I'm going to add some random sheets here. Okay, and I'm going to click on this and actions, add action. So these are the different types of actions that are available, and we can do wonders using this. So filter action, highlight action, and URL actions, these were the primary actions that were available in Tableau for a very long time. So but from the recent release from Tableau, we have got some new actions that are go to sheet, change parameter, and change set values. These are something 6 type of actions that are available. So you need to be very, very clear on the concepts of this. Okay, filter action, URL action, uh, highlight action, go to sheet, change set values, and change parameter values. Again, do comment in comment section if you want a separate video explaining the actions here. I'll create one specific video for you. So again, these are very important in real time. We are going to use at least one type of action. So mostly filter action, go to sheet, and change set values. These are something that we regularly use in real time. So you need to be very clear on what is happening or what will happen when we are going to use this action. Okay, so I'm just putting it as star mark, so understand it is important. Okay, so I'm going to mark. So all of these are important, like except a highlight, all of them we use frequently. So that is about actions. And another important thing in dashboard that we have is this objects. So many times we get question like, what is container here? So we have two types of containers here. Objects in dashboard. So we might get a question like, container is an object of worksheet. Like question can be, container is an object of worksheet, dashboard, or like this, object of question mark. A, you will have option as worksheet. B, dashboard. C, story point. D, all. So if you know the answer, you can comment in the comment section. So I'll know that you have the answer for this. So very important here, how are you going to place your worksheets in dashboard? So based on that, we are going to decide whether we want to use a container or not. Okay, so if I remove this, so an object can be placed in a dashboard in two methods. It can be either your tiled object or it can be your floating object. So tiled object means it will take the entire space that is available in your worksheet or in your dashboard. No matter what is the size of your dashboard, it is going to take up the entire space. Now, as you add other objects as style, Tableau will automatically adjust the space based on where you are dropping that object. But floating is not like this, not like that. Floating, we have to specify the size manually. Now you see, it is not taking up the entire space. Okay, so maybe I need to change the color here so that it is, yeah, so this is our space. Now we need to manually specify. So either I can use drag and drop to increase or decrease the width, or I can move it with respect to my layout option that is available here. So if I click on this, when I select this sheet, I have my positions: X position, Y position, width and height. These four are very important here. X means your position from your X axis here. So from here it is 24 positions. Now you see, if I do 50, it is moving to the right. So similarly, Y means my position from my top. So I want to move it to 50 as well. So it is coming down. So 50 spaces from here, 50 spaces from here. Width is how much of this? Like I want to have 700. So this is your 700. Height, how much of height you want? Like say I want 400. Like this. So using this, you can adjust the objects and the sizes, or also manually you can do. But I recommend whenever you are practicing, practice it with respect to this, because this is what is going to help you and save you time. Okay. So those are dashboard objects. And container means, if I'm going to add a container here, container means something that will hold your object. Okay, now you see, hold down shift button to drop floating objects into the container. So it will make a floating object as a tiled in a floating container. So I'm holding my shift button, dragging this and dropping it. Now you see, my worksheet is in that container. Now this is tiled inside this container, so it is going to take up the entire space. Okay, if at all I want to move this, you need to click on this, select container, and then move it to wherever you need. That way we can have the objects here. So those are called as containers, very important. So we have horizontal and vertical containers, and then we have text boxes to write text. So I'm going to make it white because it is not visible, make it bold, and I'm going to increase the size to write textual information. Anything you want to talk about dashboard, or you want to describe the dashboard, or you want to tell how to use the dashboard, all that thing you can do it in text boxes. If at all you want to add images, then you can do that using this image box. So click on this, choose image. You can choose whatever you want, like say go to Tableau repository, images. Okay, where did that? Okay, it is under shapes. So I'm going to take this image like this. Okay, so you can add images, and then you have blank sheets. So blank sheets are mostly used to format your dashboard, or to customize how you want to, have some standard lines in there. In that cases, we will use blank option. And then we have navigation button. Suppose you want to navigate from one dashboard to another dashboard, or from dashboard to worksheet, all that you can do here. So just drag and drop option, click on that edit button, and you can navigate to wherever you want. You want to navigate to this sheet, assume, click on that. You want a text button or an image button, so you can also add image You can also have text. Anything you want, you can do it. Okay, I'm image button I'm doing. If you do that, you need to add image. So if it is text, you can keep it like that, and you can just click on apply. Okay. So this is how it is looking. Now if I click on this, it is going to take me to that particular dashboard. So navigation is one important option here. So to download, so there is a download button. So this will work only when you go to server. So here it is available. If I click on this and edit, we have an option to download our dashboard as crosstab format, or in image format, or in PDF format, or in PowerPoint. So these four options we have got. So you can select whatever the format that you need, click OK, and you can just keep it wherever you want in your dashboard, like somewhere on the top. And once it is moved to server, this will get enabled, and when you click on this, automatically it will be downloaded into what you call PDF, image, or crosstab, whatever the format that you want. Okay. Next is extensions. If at all you are using any extensions that are not available to solve a particular problem, then you can use this. So again, you might need to take approval from your manager that you want to use so and so extension which is available outside the network, and you also need to tell why it is not possible for you to achieve that. And after that, maybe a decision will be taken whether they really want to have that feature or not. So if they really need, then they will give confirmation that you can use this, and basing on that you can implement your situation. Okay, so this is an extension, something like this. Okay, yeah, so that's about dashboard. So to summarize, important things are actions here from dashboard, and the objects here that are important to remember. Next is, whenever you are creating a dashboard, it is always better to take confirmation from the client whether they want any phone view, or they are going to see the reports in phone or not. Basing on that, you can always add a layout with respect to your mobile devices. You see, by default it is default, but if you click on this phone, this is how it is becoming. I can click on device preview, and suppose I want a tablet version here. I'm going to select it like this, and I'm going to click on add layout. Now you see I have added a new layout called as tablet. So if a user is trying to log in from a tablet, this is how report is going to look like for him. If he is logging in from a default, this is how the report is. So one thing that you need to remember here is, whenever you are having multiple layouts, you need to correct each layout accordingly. So you are changing in one, the other might not impact. You see I have image here, but when I go to tablet, it is here. So it will not automatically get updated. You need to update it manually. That is something that you need to remember. Okay, so you can also use these formatting options like fit all or fit width or default, whatever you want, you can set it automatically. Okay, so something that is important for from dashboard perspective. Now if I go to worksheet again here, so this is, there are two panes basically. One is data pane and another one is analytics pane. So in data pane, we will see the list of all the tables, tables and fields that we have. So when I go to analytics, it will show the analytical functions that we can use. Suppose I'm going to take order date, and I'm going to take sales and drop it here. I'm going to convert it into sum of sales and drop it here. So if I go to analytics function, these are the different types of analytical functions that we can have. So here again important is reference line. So we can always add it. Reference line, this can be done in 4 ways: reference line, band, distribution, and box plot. So again the scope of each is different. Line can be for your entire table or per pane or per cell. Okay, so let me remove it, and I'm going to add a category, and I'm also going to add a subcategory for you to show how this will look. Now I'm going to analytics. You can go and add reference line from here, or you can click on this and you can click on add reference line. Now see the difference. I want to have average of sum of sales for entire table. Now it is having one average for all of this. Per pane means for each of my category like furniture, office supplies, and technology, I'm having an average. So basically, how are we doing a group by? Based on that, we are trying to have a line here. Or per cell. So for each of your cell here. So like this, you can draw your reference lines. Line or band. Band means 2 options you will have: band from and band to. So this is like your range. How do you want to cover your data? So for that cases, you can cover using this. So again, this is important, but not that much, but it is always good to remember this. So next is your story point. Story point is like very similar to our PowerPoint presentation. If at all you want to present your dashboard to the client, or you want to present the quarterly story or quarterly growth of your organization, then in that kind of cases, you can create a chart and represent them in the story point. Okay, so yes, that is about story. So in most of the cases in real time, we are going to create dashboards only many times. Worksheets and dashboards, two important things that we definitely use in real time. Story point only for uh, presentation purpose. Why? Because we have very limited options in that. We do not have interactivity like that. So it is more likely like it is read only kind of thing. We cannot do much there. But in dashboard, it allows us to interact. It allows us to play with the data. It allows us to download the data and all. So that's why dashboard is more preferred than the story point. Okay. So I think that's it from my side in this video. Hope you like it. If you like it, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.